Hi, I'm Pastor Rhonda.
And I'm Pastor Seth.
You're listening to Growing Hope,
Living Faith.
Welcome back to Growing Hope, Living Faith. It's good to see you, Pastor Seth.
Yes, I feel like it's been a while. So obviously a lot's happened since we've been together with Thanksgiving. And, obviously we had an episode come out after Thanksgiving, but we recorded that one before Thanksgiving. So you had a good time, eh?
I sure did. I had a house full. I had all of my grandbabies, plus my brother and his baby was here too. So we had a house full, and it was great.
That's awesome. Yeah, I got to see both sides of my family. Got to see my side, and then a lot of Morgan's cousins came in from all over. She hadn't seen them in about 5 years, and they all have kids now, and so it's kind of interesting to kind of all be together and. I saw
pictures on Facebook. So cute.
Yeah, I have a 5-year-old daughter. Obviously, Emery is 5 years old, and some of our cousins have never met her. So it was kind of crazy.
Yeah,
and
cool.
So it's kind of cool to be able to do that and kind of see everybody and let the kids run around and play and do all that kind of fun stuff. So that was good. You decorated your house. Saw online that you decorated your house.
I got everything. Well, we didn't do the outside, but we have all of our trees up upstairs, and we have the kitchen decorated. And it's just the 1st of December. I'm so excited. Today is the 1st of December.
It is.
A little memory here. My grandfather, he's in heaven, but today is his birthday. And I named my oldest son Jesse after him. Just a wonderful man. But anyway, that was like squirrel. But it's the 1st of December, and we have everything decorated.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's good. It's a nice change because for so long my Decembers have been so crammed full. And now that I'm working part-time and just going to school full-time, I've had time to relax a little and get Christmas stuff out. And tonight I am having 2 of my grandbabies over. I'm having the 2 boys. And I'm hoping that during the month of December, I'm going to have all of them.
That'd be awesome.
Who knows what I'll be like by the time Christmas comes. But hey.
It's so easy to, even in church life, to get soaked up in just all the things that have to get done during this season.
Yes.
And it's so easy sometimes to lose, even as pastors, just lose sight of what it's about. And it's not that it's necessarily bad things that obviously we're doing, but I mean, it's so easy just to get caught up and that goes, like I said, for us as pastors.
Right. Well, I know, and I'm hesitating if I should even share this, but as a worship pastor, I have said many times, I love Jesus with all of my heart, and I hate Christmas just because it is so stressful. And I have been one of those people that literally just last minute just ordering everything on Amazon just because I've not had time to shop. And I'm the one running around on Christmas Eve trying to get last minute stuff. But all of the services were great, But I think I have completely lost the real meaning. And so it's nice to recover from that and to just enjoy just a laid back.
To take a breath
Christmas,
a little bit.
Yeah.
So, for me, I've always obviously loved the Christmas season. But I personally, I don't like playing Christmas songs as a musician because they are some of the hardest songs you could ever play. And so we would always come to Christmas season. There's just so many changes. It's so many fast changes. And it was always a struggle for me. And, I never played, I think I played keys maybe through one season, maybe at Fairview. But yeah, no, it's, but just even playing bass, it was just like nonstop. You're just moving the whole time and changing and just trying to keep up. It's like, hold on, here we go.
Yes.
And,
they're brutal.
They are.
I can't tell you how many times I have been singing and I just lift my hands or just take my hands off the keyboard and just sing it and then catch up with my hands later because I have no idea what's happening.
I couldn't imagine trying to play and sing some of those songs at the same time. And but we are once again in this Christmas season for followers of Jesus. It is the Advent season. And like I said, Michael mentioned in the last week's podcast, this starts off our Christian calendar. This is the beginning of the new year. This is new life for us. It's so cool that we get to open up with these 4 themes that we see through the season of Advent.
Right.
So why don't you just talk a little bit about what Advent is to you? I'm throwing you on the spot, and I know you've been thinking a lot with your schooling and all of that, but I don't know, like as you kind of step back and you look at the broader scope of Advent, what's kind of stuck out to you in the past, or what really hits home to you when it comes to the season of Advent?
I think it's different every year, but I think as I get older, the first word that comes to my mind is wait. We're in a season of waiting, and we're waiting now. Today's December 1st when we're recording this, but it's the 1st of December, and we wait till the 25th, and we have that kind of waiting. But I remember how the people must have felt waiting for the Messiah, and it had been over 400 years since they had heard the voice of God, and man, that's a long time to wait. But we're also waiting for redemption, and I know a complete redemption, a complete restoration is coming. And as I get older and I see more people suffering, and I see more people going through things, that's just so hard. That day is coming that all is going to be made well, all is going to be made new, all is going to be okay. But I think for me, I personally just get a little more excited, and I just want to say, hurry up, Lord. Hurry up, we're waiting. But I'm thankful for hope, that it's not just a wish. It's not just, something that I hope God does. It's a confident hope. I know He's going to make all things new, and He's going to make all things right, and all the suffering is going to stop, and the tears will be wiped away from our faces, and we will live in a state of eternal, complete joy. And that day really is going to come. And so when I think of Advent, I kind of think of being in that suspension. I read today, it was I think it was the DS of Florida. I can't remember his name, Dale somebody, but he used the terms or the language of the suspension between midnight and sunrise. And I thought, man, that's really cool. In fact, I wrote it down. I thought I might get a song out of that. But it is that suspension of already not yet, and I'm in the midst of this season. That's where my mind goes. Suspension.
It's good. I like it, and everybody is great at waiting. That's everybody's favorite thing to do, is to wait and wait and wait and wait. And so, but it's so on point once again. And it's so pivotal for us that as we wait well.
Right.
And that's very, I think, key in why this season of Advent and these themes that essentially we talk about, these are themes and things that hopefully help us to be able to wait well. Because, like I said, nobody likes to wait, but sometimes it's easy when you are waiting for something to just kind of sit back and be like, all right, well, we're just waiting, right? And so you twiddle your thumbs and you pat your foot and you're waiting, and sometimes you get impatient and all those kind of things. And I think that's a normal response for most people. But the thing that's different about Advent is it's that call that as we are waiting, because yes, we are waiting for something. How do we wait? What does that look like? And how do we live out that wait? And that's what's really, really cool about this season of Advent.
We started writing a song on Monday, me and a couple of co-writers, and we're writing along these lines, about hope and about waiting and all that. Nobody likes to wait, but we talked about how frustrating it is to be maybe in a small group study, and you have that opening time of where you're sharing what God's doing in your life, and everybody's going around the table with all these answered prayers, and you're sitting there, smiling on the outside, but on the inside you're going, God, when are you going to do that for me? And how do you wait well? And we talked about that on our co-write. Well, the two things that we can do is we can remember what He's already done. We can remember all the promises that have been fulfilled. And if you look at it in the season of Advent, it'll blow your mind if you start looking at all the prophecies that were fulfilled. But the other thing that you can do is just not just remember, but you can look at what He's done for you personally. Not just what he's done, like prophecies fulfilled, but what has he done in the past for you?
Yep.
And you know that he's going to answer one way or the other.
It's good. That's very, very good. So the first really theme of Advent is hope. And lots of people, like I said, you may hear us say these themes, and you may hear us do a different order than maybe what you're normal or used to. But there are 4 themes, and the themes are hope, love, joy, and peace. Or hope, peace, love, joy, love. I don't know. Most people will do joy as that third.
That pink candle.
Yeah, because they light the pink candle, which is the joy candle, and some of that. So that one's always there. And generally, you always have to start with hope. You'll always start with hope. And hope is such a big word. It's a loaded word. I think on a pretty deep level. But man, I think it means different things for different people. But I can't imagine living without hope.
Right.
I don't know what that looks like. I can't imagine what that would be like.
I can't either. And then you see it like people that are atheists, and it's like that would be so sad to me to have no hope to look towards the future, to know that everything is eventually going to be okay. I mean, is this all there is?
Yeah, but there are so many people, like you said. That's, I think, a very good example. But man, how many people around us truly have no hope? They have no hope because the things that they're putting their faith or belief in or their trust in are only going to let them down. And that's what's different about this faith and this journey is as we put faith and trust in God, we put faith and trust that there is something bigger at work. There's something bigger at play.
Right.
What's cool about this season is this is the ushering in of essentially the kingdom of God. It's in these themes that we begin to really see the kingdom of God played out. And the cool thing about Advent, and kind of how I've always heard it explained, and we may have talked about this last year. We haven't listened to last year's podcast, so don't go back and listen to last year's. Just listen to this year's. But essentially, I love Advent kind of described in this way, that we are waiting for the ultimate fulfillment and realization of the kingdom of God. Like these themes truly explain the kingdom of God in such a big and powerful way. And it's crazy because it's just 4 words. But I think in these 4 words, we really, really see the realization of the kingdom of God. And so what Advent allows us to do is it allows us to be at a place that as we are waiting, we are, it's almost like we're in a substation, and we're seeing the beginnings of the train, that beginning of the full realization of the kingdom of God. And then that's what I love about Advent is that, yes, we are waiting for that ultimate fulfillment. And this is where the waiting well comes into play, is we don't just wait and say, well, that day is going to be awesome whenever that happens. But man, Advent leads us to a place where we say we do have a hope.
Right.
And our hope, yes, is in the future, but man, our hope is actually bigger. Our hope is that here and now, that this world really can be different. And these themes that we're going to be talking about can be themes that make a difference in the world around us right here and right now. And so the kingdom, yes, it is on the way, and that is what we are waiting for. But to wait well means that we live these themes on such a deep, deep, deep level that as the kingdom is coming and as that train is coming in, it's already overflowing into the world that we live in.
Right.
And it's hard because I had just had a conversation with somebody not too long ago, but it's hard because we look around the world and we say, this world will never or could never get back into the way that they phrased it was the Garden of Eden. And as we look at these themes, and if we really have hope, then I don't think that should be our mind frame at all. We should believe in the power of love and the power of joy and the power of peace and the power of hope, and believe that, yes, those things are available for everyone here and now. And so to wait well means that we have to live these things in a big and powerful way and make sure that as we are waiting, we're waiting well.
And I think for me, to wait well is to focus on the incarnation. I mean, my goodness, God came to earth.
Yeah.
I mean, he became one of us so that he would understand this idea of waiting and being limited and suffering and pain. And I mean, he understands it all because he chose to be one of us.
Yeah, absolutely. So good. On such a deep level. And that's the beauty of it. You know, like I said, we talk about the cross and we talk about all these things of what the cross is and the future benefits of the cross. But man, the cross has implications right here, right now. And it's so much, like I said, it's so easy for us and so many people, we take the cross and we're like, yep, down the road, that's going to be my ticket into heaven, without that realization that no, Jesus came, and the cross, I mean, when it happened, had significance there. Evil is defeated, right? Sin is defeated. And it's not like, oh, the cross happens so that down the road, all of that can be defeated. No, that happened right there. And we saw the reality of love being lived out and these themes being lived out, that the themes that bring, and the cross that brings peace, and it brings love, and it brings joy, and it brings hope, and it brings all of these things. And it's for the here and the now, if we will allow it to be for the here and now. And that's what I love about the season of Advent, because it's an awesome call. And what a way to start our Christian calendar, to start our Christian year, man, than the call of these four things. But it's not easy.
Right.
It's not easy in these scriptures, because we were even just having a conversation. Some of the readings that you get for the season of Advent, they're not the prettiest of things, because waiting is hard. And there is definitely something within that is a struggle.
Right. I agree. We were reading the gospel passage and I was like, oh man, it kind of sounds scary. Like, just trying to imagine this, but we can jump right into it if you want to.
Absolutely. I'll let you read it this week, if you don't mind.
Okay. It's Mark. Hold on. I blew it up bigger so I could see it. Mark 13:24-37. But in those days, after that suffering, the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will be falling from heaven, and the powers in the heavens will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in clouds with great power and glory. Then he will send out the angels and gather his elect from the four winds, from the ends of the earth to the ends of heaven. From the fig tree learn its lesson. As soon as its branch becomes tender and puts forth its leaves, you know that summer is near. So also, when you see these things taking place, you know that he is near at the very gates. Truly, I tell you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have taken place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. But about that day or hour no one knows, neither the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Be aware, keep alert, for you do not know when the time will come. It is like a man going on a journey, when he leaves home and puts his slaves in charge, each with his work, and commands the doorkeeper to be on the watch. Therefore keep awake, for you do not know when the master of the house will come, in the evening, or at midnight, or at cockcrow, or at dawn. Or else he may find you asleep when he comes suddenly. And what I say to you, I say to all, keep awake.
Yeah, it's easy to read that and be like doom and gloom. Ooh, you know what I'm saying? On such a deep level. Man, but I'm going to be honest. Like, I hear this and it does. It brings me hope. I think it should very much bring us hope. Like, we're not going to have all the answers. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to have all the answers. We're not going to know when he's going to return. We don't know, the day and hour. We don't know when the ultimate fulfillment of the kingdom is going to happen, but there's something beautiful that essentially Jesus is doing. I mean, because like I said, the people he's talking to, they believe that all of this is going to happen. The second coming is going to happen in their lifetime. And so that was the belief, and that's what they thought was going to happen. And obviously, it was extended essentially, beyond that. Now they did obviously see the coming of the kingdom, you know what I'm saying? The fulfillment of the cross. I think a lot of these things they probably saw within that first coming of the kingdom, with the death on the cross. But essentially, he says, you know what? You don't have to have all the answers, and don't even try to have all the answers. But there is one thing essentially that you can do is you can keep alert.
Right.
You can be on watch. You can make sure that you are living your life with the realization that there is this ultimate fulfillment of the kingdom is going to happen, right? It's going to happen. And so the way that you live your life is you live your life and you're on watch. You're awake. Make sure you're awake. Make sure you're watching. Make sure you're living a life in a way that embodies the kingdom of God, because that's all you need to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you don't have to have all the answers. And if you're living a life that does embody these themes and embodies the kingdom of God, then you don't have to worry.
Right. So what do you do to stay awake? Because I'm sure that's what when I was reading, so many times it said, stay alert, stay alert. I'm like, so tell me exactly, what does it mean to stay alert?
Yeah, I think you live every day with this thought, with that in your brain. You know what I'm saying? Like, you live with that thought. You live with that you know what, like, and like I said, not that you have to live in fear, because I think a lot of these themes should blow fear out of the water on such a deep level. And I don't know if we've had this conversation on the podcast per se, but, you know, fear, I don't think is the way of God. It doesn't come from God. And, you know, that's scriptural. And so, you know, I don't think we have to be afraid, but I think we live with this thought in our brain. And if we truly have that thought in our brain, then I think it allows us to continually have that discipline that as we are going through life's circumstances and situations, as we are making decisions day in and day out about life, we realize that we are living for something that is so much bigger than just what is going on right here. And so, once again, like, it doesn't mean that the struggle of lives are not going to come. You know, they're going to come. There's going to be issues. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be struggles. But man, if we're living with this in mind, with this attitude, you know what? Like, hey, the goal is to keep watch. The goal is to live the kingdom. The goal is to live love, to live peace, to live joy, to live these hopes, and to bring those to people around us in everything that we do. And if that is our focus, then once again, maybe our lives do begin to look a little bit different in how we go about interacting with people,
right,
and how we go about spending our money, and how we go about, I mean, just living life. And I mean, this should affect every aspect of our life on such a deep level. But sometimes when you are in this position of waiting, it's so easy to get complacent. It's so easy to lose sleep. Yeah, you know, like, and that's just the opposite, I think, of what God's desire that He has for our life. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I was thinking about, I think it's the Casting Crown song that talks about slow fade. Right. I think that nobody ever, or no Christian, no believer thinks, oh, well, today's the day I'm going to backslide. Today's the day I'm going to fall away. Today's the day I'm going to, like, turn my back on all this. But it's little. I think it's a little thing. I think we get drowsy before we fall asleep. Yep. And I think it can be so subtle that, you know, we can miss time here and there with the Lord, or we can, you know, cut our time with Him short. You know, we can start doing those things and just, you know, like little things. And, you know, it's like the little things that we do become habits, and before we know it, we are skipping time with the Lord altogether, and we're not spending time getting to know His voice, or spending time in His Word, getting to know what His heart is like, and we get drowsy way before we get sleepy, even before we fall asleep. So I think this keep alert is pay attention, but it's the little things, you know, it's like the busyness. I think it's all the subtle things that get our minds and attention off of Him that we have to be so careful of, because it can be good things, but we have to constantly evaluate, are these things, you know, bringing me closer to the Lord, or am I just keeping myself busy?
It's good. Yeah. You know, if I don't have a goal or a vision of something that I'm really trying to reach towards, it leads me so much more, like I said, into a place of complacency. And I think that most people are wired that way. You know, I can't tell you how many, you know, YouTube videos I've heard of people, or motivational speakers, or like even, you know, once again, people may not like Nick Saban, but I guarantee you, any football team that you like or follow, they all have this mentality is, this is our goal. And if they didn't have a goal, then when you are doing spring practice and fall practice where
good.
you're not on the field and you're not getting the glory and people aren't watching you and you think that it's not really, really important, then you're not going to do very, very well in those things. But when the coaches really set out this goal, and sometimes it's incremental goals that you're working towards a bigger goal. But if you don't have these goals and you don't have these things and parameters in place, then the football team, it becomes exponentially harder for them to reach that ultimate goal of winning a national championship or winning a World Series or winning the Super Bowl or whatever. But it starts all the way back, like months and months and months and months before. And the same, I think, rings true for us, that we have this ultimate goal. We have this ultimate vision. And if we aren't keeping watch and we're not keeping that goal in mind and that thing that we are reaching towards, then we're going to miss out on all of the steps that are necessary that we could be doing. Not to say that we'll miss out on the end goal, but we miss out on those opportunities to be able to bring into existence that which we are reaching for.
Wow, that's good. That's real good.
So I think that's what this is talking about. Don't forget the goal. Don't forget the end thing. And make sure that you put those things in places that as you are striving and reaching towards that end goal, it doesn't start when you get there. It starts right now. The preparation starts right now. The living it starts right now. And that's, I think, is the greatest thing that we as followers of Jesus could do, is as we are going about living in the world that we are, what we expect the kingdom of God to be is how we should be living right now, whatever we think it's going to be. And if we really believe that in the kingdom of God, that everyone truly is equal, well, then we better be living like everyone truly is equal.
Preach. Why don't you preach?
If we really believe that it's not going to matter how much you have, but it really is about this servantship and serving others and putting others above yourself, well, then we better start living that right here and right now. And that's how the world changes. That's the power of love.
But you know what I think? So the mentality in the Christian world today, at least in the West and in America, is like, oh, this world is so bad. Jesus is going to come fix it all. So I'm going to stay right here and just wring my hands because it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And, and it's like there's just so many people that have this mentality of, oh, he's going to come back and he's going to take me away in this whole world, and people get so fixated on it's going to be, I'm just going to sit still because it's going to be tonight. It's going to be tomorrow, and they're just so convinced that he's coming back. Yeah. Like any second to relieve them from the pressure of this world. And I mean, it plainly says that no one knows when that time is going to come. That's why it's so important to live like it now as well, because it may come in our lifetime. It may not. Nope. We don't know. Yeah. And it doesn't matter. Yep. But that's why we have to live now as if the kingdom is already, in fulfillment.
Present, for sure.
Because we just can't get caught up in like, oh, it's just bad and he's going to come end it all any second.
Well, we're afraid of failure too, on a deep level. Like we don't want to fail. And we've come to this place where we feel like if we fail within whatever we are trying to do for God, then we're failing within our faith. And that's not true. Like that's just a lie. And so, do you think that, the team that wins the national championship, that all along the way when they started way back when, do you think that there probably weren't any failures in their life? No, there's failures. Like you're trying to push forward, you're trying to attain, or you're trying to reach your goals. And sometimes failure is going to happen, and we struggle with that. I think on such a faith-based level, on the Christian level, is because we just feel like, well, if we fell at something, then God must not have been in it, and God wasn't with us, and we can't show the world that, hey, God wasn't with us. But no, like as we are pressing on towards the goal, like there's going to be struggle. People have free will. You may be doing the things that you feel like God is calling you to do, but they may not respond in the way that you desire for them. And, and that might be deemed a failure, but that's not the reality is as we are pushing, we can't be afraid of not succeeding in what and that's the beauty is, like when you fall off your horse, keep watch, get back on the horse, like keep watch, get yourself back up. Like stay alert and keep living the kingdom.
Right.
And the reality is the love and peace and joy and hope are such powerful, powerful things that if we do that, then the world around us right now, really, really, it can be different if we would really lean into those things.
And the world is watching.
And the world is watching on such a deep, deep, deep level. But it's easier to lose sight and focus of that goal and not keep that at the forefront of our mind. Mm-hmm. And it's easier to go the way of the world. I mean, it is because the kingdom life, it's not an easy life. It's not an easy life to live. And it can be very much a struggle, but man, that's the call. And like I said, that's what I love about this passage. I don't think it's a doom and gloom type passage. It's don't worry about all that crap. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll just say, don't worry about all that stuff. Like, don't worry about when's it going to happen and all this. The goal for you is you just live life like you think it's going to be down the road, and everything else is going to take care of itself.
That is so good. That is so good. That just needs to be announced in all evangelical churches. Because, I mean, just in conversations I've had recently, trying to nail down. Like, I had a friend that really, threw out a year. And I just don't understand that mentality. You know, so many people say, well, if you just watch the news, it's just, like reading the Bible and watching the news. And I don't think that's true. Yeah. I don't think it's true at all. But it doesn't matter if it's true. Yeah. That's what you said. It doesn't matter because if you live these principles, if you live as if the kingdom is already here, everything else falls into place and you don't have to worry about a prediction. You don't have to worry about the doom and gloom and all that because everything does take care of itself. That's right. Eyes back on him.
What a hope. You know what I'm saying? What a hope. And
stay alert.
Stay alert, stay awake, keep awake. And it's just fascinating because even this is the call that essentially Jesus gives to his disciples in the Garden of Gethsemane, and they don't stay awake. Right. They don't stay awake. And so it's cool that this will kind of come around full circle, even with the passion story of Jesus is saying, hey, keep awake, keep watch, and it's so easy to get tired and to fall asleep. And man, may we be a people who live this hope. And how we live the hope of what is to come is we live it right here, right now.
That's good.
Well, we love you all. Pray and hope that you enjoyed this conversation. And we'll be praying for you during this Advent season. It's always such a great season, I think, to truly connect to what it's all about on such a deep level. And it starts with hope.
That's right. If you have any questions or prayer requests, we would love to hear from you. We do have email at growinghopelivingfaith@gmail.com.
Yeah, you can also reach out to us on Facebook, Growing Hope Living Faith Podcast, and reach out to us. Let us know if there's anything you need or comments, questions, concerns, or you can just tell us we're flat out wrong, and that's okay.
Yeah, that sounds good too. Well, thanks again for listening, and we would love to hear from you.
Grace and peace. God bless, and bye-bye.